You ever just look around and wonder why, in a world full of incredible technology, things still go catastrophically wrong? Well, today, we're diving into a pretty radical idea from the engineer Henry Petroski. The idea that failure isn't just something to be avoided, it's absolutely necessary.
I mean, think about it. We have supercomputers in our pockets. We've built structures that literally scrape the sky. We have achieved so much. So why do things still break? Why do they buckle and collapse? With all our knowledge, why can't we just design something that's perfect from day one?
To really get the answer, you've got to look failure right in the eye. So picture this, a busy hotel lobby filled with music and people laughing, dancing, just having a good time. And then, out of nowhere, this sudden deafening roar as two massive walkways suspended above them just give way. And this wasn't some ancient ruin, this was a modern marvel of engineering.
And that tragedy, that's what brings us right to the heart of our discussion today, what Petroski calls the paradox of failure. It's this wild, counterintuitive idea that these horrific events, these moments where our absolute best just wasn't good enough, are the very things that actually push us forward.
114. That is not just a number. That's how many people lost their lives in the Hyatt Regency disaster. You see, the price of an engineering mistake is often paid in human lives, and that's exactly why learning from it is more than important. It's a moral duty. Let's think about it like this. 1,000 bridges that stay standing, well, they just confirm what we already thought we knew. They tell us our old formulas are still working. But one single bridge that collapses? Oh, that reveals a fatal flaw, a blind spot in our thinking we never even knew was there. When it comes to design, failure is a way better teacher than success.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This whole thing isn't just about giant bridges or professional designers. Now, Petroski argues this cycle of trial and error is, well, it's fundamentally human. It's basically written into our DNA.
I mean, just think about the songs we teach our kids. We don't have any nursery rhymes about the bridge that stood perfectly for 1,000 years, do we? Nope. We sing about the one that's falling down. From the very beginning, the idea of failure is woven right into our stories, teaching us that things can and do break.
And good old Humpty Dumpty, he teaches us another really crucial lesson. Some failures are permanent. You can't always just glue the pieces back together. Sometimes the only way forward is to learn from the break and design something totally new, something fundamentally stronger from the get-go. Just think about the very first engineering project every single one of us takes on. Learning how to walk. It's a perfect little design loop. First, you try to stand up. Then you fall down. That's the failure. Your brain, without you even thinking about it, analyzes what went wrong with your balance, your muscles. You adjust, and you try again. We are all natural-born engineers, hardwired to learn from falling down. And this principle, it isn't just for skyscrapers and toddlers. It's happening constantly, all around us, in the most normal, everyday objects we use. Your kitchen, your desk, even your own pocket. They're all filled with these tiny, ongoing experiments in design. Okay, take a simple paperclip. If you use it like you're supposed to, it's amazingly durable. But come on, we've all done this, right? You're bored in a meeting, you start bending it back and forth, and then snap. You've just conducted your very own experiment in what engineers call metal fatigue. You've found the material's breaking point by causing it to fail. Or how about the speak and spell? Man, that thing was an electronic marvel back in the day. Its genius was all in the software, that synthesized voice. The hardware, though, not so much. And kids, well, kids very quickly found its weak spot. The individual plastic keys would start to break off.
But here's the really cool part. The keys didn't just break randomly. The Enter key, which, you have to press after every single word, that was almost always the first one to go. Then came E, T, and O, the most common letters in English. The pattern of failure was this perfect, unintentional map of how people were actually using the toy.
So what did the company do? They learned. They collected all this priceless data from the failures and used it to create a new, much better version with a single tough rubber keypad. A clear-cut failure led directly to a superior design. That's the cycle right there. So from a kid's toy all the way up to a massive skyscraper, the point is this. Every single act of design is, at its core, an experiment. It's not a statement of fact. It's more like a hypothesis about the future.
You see, an engineering design isn't some ironclad guarantee. It's a proposition. The engineer is basically saying, hey, based on everything I know, I think this is going to work. But until it's really tested by the real world, by wind and weight and time, it's just a theory.
Think of it like a scientific hypothesis, something like the sun will rise tomorrow.
every single day that it does, our confidence in that idea grows, right? We keep confirming it over and over, but we can never truly 100% prove it for all of eternity.
But an engineering hypothesis is different, and this is where it gets really powerful. 1,000 days of a bridge just standing there only proves it was strong enough for those 1,000 days. But a single moment of collapse, that disproves the original "this will stand" hypothesis completely and forever. One single failure gives us more absolute, definite information than a whole century of success.
And you can see this playing out across all of human history. Just look at the pyramids. The ancient Egyptians started with these simple rectangular tombs. Then they successfully stacked them up, and boom, we get the step pyramid. Feeling pretty good about themselves, they tried to build a taller, steeper one, but it probably started showing signs of instability. So on the next one, the famous bent pyramid, you can literally see them change the angle halfway up, a real-time correction to stop it from collapsing. They were learning from a near failure, and that new knowledge is what finally let them build the great pyramids we all know today.
So when you put all these pieces together, the tough lessons from disasters, our natural instinct to learn by doing, and this idea of design as a hypothesis, a really clear and powerful pattern starts to emerge. It's the unending cycle that drives pretty much all human innovation.
It basically works like this. Success makes us confident. Confidence makes us ambitious. We want to build taller, fly faster, go further. Pushing those boundaries into the unknown, well, that inevitably leads to failure at some point. But that failure, as painful as it might be, gives us critical new knowledge. And that knowledge allows us to create a new generation of designs that are safer, stronger, and better than before, which starts the whole cycle all over again. And that leaves us with one last, pretty provocative question. We spend so much of our time and energy trying to avoid failure at all costs. But if failure is our greatest teacher, if it's the non-negotiable price we have to pay for progress, then what's the real danger of getting everything right all the time? Maybe the biggest risk we face isn't failing, but the illusion that we're perfect.